Well, can you tell us a little bit about the people involved, if you have had any contact with them, anything relevant?
Sure. Just some background and intelligence known about Mr. Williams. He does live in District 3, lives at 2537 North 45th Street. He's well known to our District 3 anti-gang unit personnel. Just a little bit about his gang history. He's a known self-admitted gang member of the Uptown 4-Boy Street Gang. This gang is involved in, but also not limited to, robberies, burglaries. They're mid-level drug dealers. This gang's also been linked to several homicides over the past 5 years. Back in 2009, the District 3 AGUs initiated an 8-month investigation into this group and arrested Williams along with 14 additional people. During this roundup, it included a search warrant at Williams' house where we recovered a marijuana package for distribution. Williams was arrested, obviously, and ended up providing very pertinent information, which ultimately helped him get a little bit lenient sentence than he would have received. His address, 2537 North 45th Street, is a chronic 4-boy gang hangout. Since his arrest last year, after he was out, decreased the amount of individuals hanging out there. Just a little bit about his arrest and contact history. Back in 2009, he was arrested for felon in possession of a firearm. 2010, he was arrested for battery, domestic violence. Also during that same call, marijuana package for delivery was recovered. And during an interview of his girlfriend, she claimed that he was an armed drug dealer in the 4-boy gang. 2010, he was stopped with 2 individuals in a neighborhood that each possessed handguns. He was not charged in this incident. 2010, the aforementioned search warrant where he was arrested with the possession with intent. And in 2013, upon his release from prison, he was arrested for a parole violation for associating with some co-defendants in that case. In regards to Mr. Smith, our suspect, he's a resident of District 4, 1805 West Custer. All right. Mr. Smith was not known to District 3 officers, however, was well known to District 4 officers from numerous encounters with him. He is in our gang drug intel database, and there was an entry in there for 2011 for him. His home address was also the target of a search warrant back in 2011, where he was arrested for possession of marijuana with intent to deliver. Just a brief rundown of his arrest and contact history. Back in 2008, he was arrested for robbery. During that interview, he admitted to being part of a robbery crew. 2008, he was arrested for operating an auto without owner's consent. 2009, he was arrested for burglary and then picked up a bail jumping charge. 2011, he was arrested in that search warrant at his residence. 2013, arrested for carrying a concealed weapon during a traffic stop that occurred in District 4. In 2013, he was arrested for fleeing after leaving the area of a shots fired complaint. His vehicle that he was driving matched the description of the suspect's vehicle during that shots fired. He arrested several blocks away. And that is all I have for Mr. Smith.
Was Mr. Smith known to be in a gang group or crew? I know you mentioned that he was in the intel database, but was he associated with anybody?
It doesn't say he was associated with anyone. I'm assuming that robbery crew was maybe a crew that just hasn't been identified yet, or potentially they're still working on it.
Okay. So Kevin, can you tell us a little bit about the neighborhood where this occurred?
Sure. So the neighborhood where the tavern is located, it's on a busy thoroughfare. There's a lot of residential and other business areas.
Go ahead, that's fine.
So it's on a major thoroughfare. There's several other businesses in the area, residential mix. It's a pretty decent mix of homeowners and renters. There's not an active block watch in the area. There's not any kind of business association that this tavern would have been a part of. There's actually no business association in the area, so they couldn't have joined it. We did a canvass of the area afterwards, after the homicide occurred. A lot of the neighbors stated that they were fearful to call for activity that they know the tavern's a problem, but they're fearful to call because of retaliation. They see it as a gang hangout, which it probably is. So the calls for service probably don't even mirror how bad this tavern actually is.
So are you attempting to create a block watch in the neighborhood or something so that the neighbors have a safe place to come where they can share what their concerns in the neighborhood?
Sure. So our community liaison officer, I talked to a couple of homeowners. It is a challenge because there's a lot of renters in the area too. Renters don't generally join the block watch because they're transient. They move out within a year. So there's some good stakeholders. Some of the homeowners seem willing that they'd start a block watch. I will say that there were complaints that were lodged, not through the police department, but through the alderman's office and through some of the community groups in that area. So it's not that the people don't want to talk about it, they're just not comfortable always coming to law enforcement with those concerns.
Right, okay.
Did the alderman express any interest in the license? So obviously their opinion will carry some weight. Have you talked to them at all?
Yeah, so we have a pretty good relationship with the alderman. He knows that this is one of our concerns. It's one of his too. It's bad for the city. It's bad for the other businesses in the area, and it degrades the quality of life for the people who are living around there. So I think that definitely a revocation needs to be looked at by the alderman's office.
So is that potentially an alderman that would support some kind of a new, if we were to work on modifying the current 105-91, they could support?
Well, I don't know if it would be retroactive anyway if we made the modifications, but we have pursued revocation with another premises with the same alderman back in February,
Correct.
March.
Yep.
So, and we were successful there. So I don't know if we need to use the modification of the ordinance as a basis, although I certainly would use this as an example of why the change in the ordinance is necessary.
What's the likelihood that you could get community members to, show up for any sort of licensing hearing? Have they been involved in the past, or would they come in the future?
So we can notify the community that the license is occurring, that the license hearing is occurring. We can't obviously give them an opinion of how they should voice their opinion. That is the biggest impact that a tavern is going to have for either renewal or revocation of their license, is the actual neighborhood. When they show up and they say, I don't want this tavern or any licensed premises in my neighborhood because it causes a problem, that's the biggest impact. We can write a lot of reports and they look great, but when the neighborhood comes out in force and says, we've had enough. So we could do a mass mailing, either through our office or through the alderman's office, just to let people know.
Are there actually people that could go out and knock on doors? Like, could you talk to one of your community-based organizations that you work with and say, hey, we are going to have a hearing on this particular tavern? Can they go out and just let people know? Because so often people aren't going to read their mail.
Correct. No, definitely. I think we could have some of the community groups in the area. The problem that we're going to run into is this renewal hearing is in June of next year, and you got to strike while the iron's hot, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. Which maybe we want to reach out to them before discussing whether a revocation is appropriate.
Right.